to make gelatin flowers, now that you know how to prepare the solution and how to color, you will need some cutters that will guide you to create the shape of the petals and leaves, and also some wires. I'm using 30 gauge wires by PME, white wires for making the frame of the petals, and green wires to make the frame of the leaves. I'm also using rose petal cutters to shape the petals and sage cutters to shape the leaves. To warm up the gelatin solution, I've used chocolate melter, but you can also use a pot with some hot water. That will bring the temperature of the gelatin up to about 45-50 degrees, which is the ideal temperature. Now, if you go slightly over 50, it's fine, but try not to overheat. Insert the ready-made wired frames in the solution. Wait till they get covered with a thin layer of the gelatin. Then place them on a glossy cardboard. And if you don't have a glossy one, just use a normal flat surface and cover it with a cling film. Create as many leaves as you need and leave them to set flat. It will take about 4 to 5 minutes for them to be maneuverable and easy to shape. Then, as an example, I've also picked a set of veiners which I want to use for my demonstration. With a brush, you can spread some gelatin solution over one side of the veiner. Then insert a wire at the base of the leaf. The wire should be set up to half length of the leaf. You can use the second part of the veiner to stamp, but then you can take that part away, as if you maintain the leaf between both sides of the veiner, then the leaf will turn up matte, not glossy. I'm preparing the wires now for creating the petals. Before proceeding with the petals, I just want to quickly show you how you can shape your leaves after they've been set for, as I said, about 5 minutes. Use a rolling pin or anything like a round shape, a tube, plastic or cardboard, and then just bend the leaves over. With the one set on the veiners, it literally just needs to be picked up and left to set firm for about 10 hours now. I'm starting now to create the petals. We're using the same technique by dipping the wired frames into the gelatin solution. Now, sometimes the gelatin solution, it gets quite stubborn and it takes a little while to pick up the right amount of gelatin. I will suggest you to take your time, be patient, and use this technique to create all the leaves and petals. That will ensure that they will turn up super thin. The advantage is that the flower you will create using this technique, it will maintain the size even after drying. The drying process will take about 10 hours. So petals will be fine to maneuver after about 5 minutes, but it will take a good amount of time, as I said, about 10 hours for them to get dry. I'm using another method here to demonstrate that you can practically brush over that wired frame. But the disadvantage of this method is the thickness of the petal. It will be much different from the one created by using the other method, the one I've suggested. So when this petal will dry, and it will take again about 10 hours to dry, it will shrink. So the size of your flower will turn up different from what you've started with. You can also pick every single petal, including the thick one, and shape over the rolling pin. So petals will be maneuverable after 5 minutes, but it will take like overnight for them to get dry completely. Once you've got the petals ready and the leaves, is the time to start building the flower. I will start by taping some stamens to create the center of the flower. I'm using stamens. You can buy them from any cake shop. They will be taped on a piece of wire. I'm using again a PME wire, but this time I'm using a 24 gauge wire, while for making the petals and leaves I've used 30 gauge wires. I'm stretching the floral tape and I'm taping all those stamens around the wire. So continue to stretch the tape and put it tightly around the center wire. Add the petals one by one and try and position those petals so they create a nice design and they fit around the stamens. Now it's up to you what kind of color you want to go for when you color your solution. It's up to you what sort of shape you choose for your petals and how many petals you use. If your fingers get super sticky because of the wax of the tape, dry them using some cornstarch. Continue to add petals till you finish the whole flower. Then add the leaves. Whenever you add a petal or a leaf, make sure that you cover the wire with the tape. It doesn't look nice when you've got wires sticking from under the tape. So make sure you tape every single piece of wire so the flower looks neat and tidy. Shape the petals and position them in the right place. Then, as I said, continue with the leaves, add as many as you like. Now, those flowers are very, very easy to make and they are not time consuming. So you can create up to 3 or 5 and put them together into a nice little floral arrangement. Those gelatin floral arrangements can be stored away from humidity for a very long time. The gelatin solution can be rewarmed and reused over 2 or 3 days, but then I will suggest to prepare a fresh one in case that you want to make more flowers. I can't wait to see what beautiful floral arrangements you are going to come out with. Good luck!